Thank you, Carrie. You know, the weight of all this snow proved to be too much for yet another garage in our area. NBC 10's Brian Crandall looks at what homeowners should be watching for on their homes and garages.
Pancaked, a garage just off Broadway is reduced to rubble by the heavy snow that was on top. Matt DiCristofaro is a tenant in the building next to the garage.
Normally I park right over there where the majority of the snow is. Today I wasn't, thank God.
His car was actually saved by other snow, a big pile which blocked his way into the garage, forcing him to park elsewhere. The building is owned by podiatrist Joseph DeCesare, who has his office there too. He didn't want to talk on camera, telling me it's been a bad day. One thing that stands out here is that the garage had a peaked roof. We've seen a number of roof collapses in the past couple weeks. Providence Fire Battalion Chief John Healy says most pitched roofs should be okay, unless they had problems beforehand, like termites or leaks.
If you're concerned about your roof, the garage, or whatnot, the experts recommend that you hire a professional to check it out and do any of the work on top, and that you not get up there. I'm Brian Crandall, NBC 10 News in Providence.
A Fairhaven High School student is facing a charge of involuntary manslaughter. 18-year-old Michelle Carter attends King Philip High. Sun Chronicle reports she was indicted for allegedly encouraging a friend, 18-year-old Conrad Roy III, to commit suicide last summer. He died of carbon monoxide poisoning. Authorities then say Carter tried to raise money for mental illness in memory of Roy. Carter was 17 at the time. She was arraigned in juvenile court earlier this month.
A Taunton man died. He was one of 3 shooting victims in Brockton that occurred in the same day. Police say 23-year-old Manny Jr. Andrade died from a gunshot wound to the face. It happened late yesterday morning. Police were working a detail when a car pulled up with Andrade in the passenger side. He died at an area hospital. It was Brockton's 4th homicide so far this year. Police are looking for a white SUV with Florida plates in connection with that shooting. And the sister of murder victim Odin Lloyd is supposed to take the stand today in the Aaron Hernandez murder trial. Video was shown in court yesterday showing Hernandez dancing near the gas pumps at a station in Canton about an hour before Lloyd was killed. The video also shows him going inside with co-conspirator Carlos Ortiz. The pair bought rolling papers and gum. Also on the stand, the manager of the Providence bar where Hernandez drank just hours before the crime. She testified patrons at the South Street Cafe were complaining about Hernandez and smelled marijuana.
I went to the front door to talk to my security to see where it was coming from.
Well, prosecutors have not said who shot Lloyd, but they do say Hernandez orchestrated the homicide.
A hearing is scheduled for later today to discuss a start date in that lawsuit to challenge Rhode Island's 2011 overhaul of the state employee pension system. A Superior Court judge yesterday decided to combine 5 lawsuits into one for the trial. Lawyers for the state wanted that. Lawyers for the unions did not. The first of the 5 separate cases was supposed to start on April 20th. So far, there's been no reaction from the unions to the judge's ruling, but a spokeswoman for Governor Raimondo released a statement late yesterday which reads in part, "We are pleased with today's ruling and will continue to prepare for the trial. We believe the state has a strong case and that we will prevail in court." You may remember it was Governor Gina Raimondo who advocated the controversial pension changes, Barbara, when she served as general treasurer.
Thank you, Frank. Plainville police say they have a lead in a recent robbery. NBC 10's Olivia Fecto says the suspects in the surveillance video ran up $3,000 on a woman's stolen credit cards.
So it could be anybody. That's the point where they want to make it. It could be the person next to you in line. Could be the person looking to take your wallet.
Police in Plainville, Massachusetts are poring over surveillance video, trying to nail down who stole a woman's wallet at Panera Bread last month.
She remembers being jostled by a male on her way out. Didn't think anything of it till she got home. She started getting some emails from her credit card companies.
Take a look at the surveillance video from inside the restaurant. The man walks in first. The woman follows a few minutes later. Both of them trail the woman as she walks out the door, talking on her cell phone. Police say the man grabbed the wallet from the victim's purse while the woman ran interference.
Blocked her view of any wrongdoing, and they all continued out the door one after another.
The suspects walked out of this Panera after allegedly stealing a wallet and took the credit cards right around the corner to Target.
Looked like they had just come from church, the way they were dressed. So they definitely did not stand out like, okay, those are definitely thieves.
Police say the suspects went from store to store, racking up $3,000 before one of the credit cards was finally denied. The woman police have their eye on is 53-year-old Devora Wells of Philadelphia, seen here in a mugshot from 2011. She has a criminal record stretching back more than 30 years. Police in nearby towns say they think she did the same thing there about a week before this theft. As for the wallet, it's still missing. Police say people should be aware of their surroundings in public places.
Just keep your personal belongings close to you. If you have a purse, don't put it over the back of your chair. Keep it, if you're in a booth or a table, just keep it next to you on your lap if you have to.
Olivia Fecto, NBC 10 News.
Elsewhere this morning, charges have been dropped in connection with that truck and commuter train crash in California. We'll have that story in a moment.
And the identity of the so-called jihadi John is being made public.
And we'll bring you the details behind one MBTA rider's most embarrassing day.
Ugh.
Right now, though, it's 20 minutes to 6. Time to convene another meeting of our world-famous Early Risers Club to welcome in another new member.
Yes, our newest member is Danny Echevarria of North Providence. Good morning, Danny.
Danny, welcome to the club. That's 2 from North Providence today.
Yeah, North Providence. Thank you. Representing.
That's right. And if you want to get your name announced on the air, no matter where you live, just tell us who you are and where you're from on Facebook.
Yeah, that's what Danny did. He did it on our NBC 10 Facebook page. You do this before 5:30 in the morning, and in the coming weeks, we'll be happy to announce your name or names on the air.
Closed captioning on NBC 10 is brought to you by Cardi's Furniture. Nairobi offers same-day mattress eye delivery 7 days a week.
No charges will be filed in connection with this week's Metrolink train derailment in California. On Tuesday, the commuter train crashed into a produce truck that had been abandoned on the tracks. The train derailed and injured more than 24 people. The truck driver, Jose Alejandro Sanchez Ramirez, was initially arrested on suspicion of felony hit and run in connection with the train collision. There were no fatalities associated with the crash. Members of the U.S. Senate are supposed to vote later this morning on a clean funding bill for the Department of Homeland Security. Homeland Security funding is supposed to expire at the end of the day today. Senators will vote on an amendment to replace the funding bill already passed by the House with another bill that would fund the agency through September. Republicans had demanded that any funding be tied to provisions that limit President Barack Obama's directives on deportations.
The parents of the first American killed by ISIS militants says the U.S. government failed them. Freelance journalist James Foley was held captive for well over a year before being executed last summer. In a related story, neither the U.S. nor British governments are confirming the Washington Post story, which identifies a person shown in many of those ISIS beheading videos. Many call him Jihadi John. The Washington Post has identified him as Mohammed Emwazi. A regional nuclear watchdog group wants to ensure that the Pilgrim nuclear plant is safe from terrorists. The group Pilgrim Watch has filed a petition asking for the NRC to suspend or modify Pilgrim's license to operate until adequate land-based security can be assured. The Cape Cod Times says petitioners claim there have been 10 incidents of trespassing at Pilgrim in the past 3 years. There's no word on when or if the NRC will act on that request. And it is a commute that one MBTA rider will not soon forget. You're about to find out why. A man had his pants sucked right off of him at the Somerville station in front of everyone. According to an MBTA spokesman, the man's pants got stuck in the escalator and were ripped right off of his body, leaving him in his shorts on a cold morning. Luckily, he was not injured, but maybe a little embarrassed.
It's kind of like an Abbott and Costello routine.
Right?
My goodness gracious. They would talk about your shoelaces getting stuck, but I don't think there's any warnings on there about your pants. Maybe they should. All right, 610 connector here at Dean Street. There's that outbound side inbound looking just fine this morning. No problems on Route 10 or Route 6 individually or when they come together. 95 southbound between 195 and Eddy Street, so right in that short stretch right there. There's an accident blocking that right lane and that right shoulder. Not cleared up yet, but you're still able to get by. Let's send it over to Kelly Love, get a check of the forecast. Hey, Kelly.
Hey, good morning, Molly. Well, of course, it's frigid as you're stepping outside this morning. Most places are in the single digits, but we do have some spots above that 10-degree mark. Right now at TF Green, we're at 10 degrees. Take a look at our People's Credit Union Skycam network live at the Newport Hyatt, though. Not quite to sunrise yet. Next 30 minutes, 45 minutes or so, we should see that sun coming up out over the bridge, and it should be a nice sunrise because we're not really dealing with any cloud cover. That's part of the reason these temperatures are so cold. It's 13 in Providence, 14 in Fall River, single digits for the majority of the rest of the area. And with that, here's what we're seeing on the satellite picture. Worcester down through central Connecticut, just a little bit of cloud cover here and there, but the good news is we are dry and quiet as we kick off your weekend. We've got high pressure taking hold off to our west, and that's going to keep providing us with sinking air. What does sinking air mean? It means we'll see a lack of cloud cover out there. We will see some sunshine through the afternoon, but unfortunately it's not going to warm the temperatures up too much. We're still going to be below average for this time of year, topping out near 25 by around 3 o'clock. Inland 28 is what we're expecting at the coast for the high there. Now, looking at the forecast track as we go through your Saturday, you'll notice that high slides in and we should stay dry and quiet. This is taking you through 5 p.m. Sunday, so most of the weekend will look nice. Here's what's happening. High pressure is going to take hold. That provides us with lots of sunshine for your Saturday. But then as that slides off to the east, we've got the next system developing that's going to be moving in as we go into Sunday, especially the evening hours Sunday. You'll notice this is Sunday around 11 p.m. So looks like it has a lot of moisture along with it. So we'll see a shot of some snow late Sunday into early Monday. We could see upwards of 3, maybe 4, even possibly 5 inches of snow as we go into Monday morning. Of course, we'll keep you posted on that, but what I can tell you is that it may slow you down for the commute. Other news, looking at the marine forecast, winds are out in the northwest at 6 to 12 knots. Visibility, unlimited waves around 1 to 2 feet. High tide 3:08 p.m. Low tide just before 10 a.m. this morning. We're in the upper 20s today and tomorrow, and again Sunday we're topping out near the freezing mark, but of course that chance of snow moves in late. We're talking nighttime snow through morning snow on Monday with a high of 37. Increasing clouds on the way for Tuesday. Another system looks like it will work its way in for Wednesday and Thursday of next week, but temperatures look like they'll be above the freezing mark, so we'll see mostly rain, at least as far as it looks like right now. Barbara?
Does Mother Nature not know it is March next week? I'm just saying. Anyway, coming up on NBC 10 News Sunrise, we'll tell you about a one-of-a-kind chase in Arizona. It did not involve cars.
Yeah, we're playing the wrong music now. We should be playing that. And coming up in flashback, we'll take you back to that big fire, awful fire at the Crescent Park Amusement Park in Riverside.
But first, what are you thinking about this morning? We've posted this question on our Facebook page. Some say it's gold and white. Others say it's black and blue. And believe it or not, millions are talking about this controversial dress. Go on our Facebook page, check it out, and let us know what you think. We're torn here if it's black and blue or gold and white. So you let us know what you think. Time now 5:53. Let's check in with Molly. Good morning, Molly.
Hey, good morning. Hasbro is launching a contest online with BuzzFeed for the 80th anniversary of Monopoly. The toy company is choosing cities to be featured in a new version of the board game to be called Monopoly Here and Now. The top 20 cities in the vote will receive spaces on the board. Providence is one of 60 cities on the ballot. The main contest runs through March 4th, and the winning cities will be announced March 19th. Some Republican lawmakers say they'll push for legislation to undo the FCC's vote to impose rules on internet providers. The vote enforces what's called net neutrality. It prevents companies that provide broadband service from creating paid fast lanes and slowing or blocking web traffic. Those firms will now have to act in the public interest. All right, and check out this video. They're the Bonnie and Clyde of llamas, and their escape was televised live and later broadcast worldwide. CNN reported the llamas were doing therapy work at an assisted living facility in Sun City, Arizona. Something spooked them and they took off, Both were somehow able to dodge and avoid traffic. I looked up these two characters, Kanita and Lainey. They were actually captured via lasso by some onlookers. They helped the department. And the Arizona Cardinals, the football team there, they said they're going to sign them to one-year contracts and with barrels of hay. That's going to be their contract deal. Frank, Barbara?
I love that.
What amazes me is that cable news covered the rescue effort live. They'll do anything to put a chase on television. Oh my goodness. In flashback, our report today brings us memories of the famous amusement park in the Riverside section of East Providence, closed in the 70s because of declining attendance. Crescent Park. Well, on this date, what is it now, 35 years ago today, February 27th, 1980, there was a fire at the then defunct Midway, and this is the first of our two flashback items.
February 27th, 1980, fire heavily damages the main building on the grounds of the Crescent Park amusement park. The park had been closed for some time. Plans were underway to convert much of the property to housing, which is eventually just what happened years later. There were rumors for years earlier that someone would try to torch the main hall, but the fire chief this day was saying that as of then, the fire did not look suspicious. Meanwhile, a sigh of relief that the historic carousel was not damaged by the fire. The carousel, of course, was later restored and still operates to this day. February 27th, 1987, a parole hearing for Joanne Rossi. And in fact, later this same year, she was released from prison after having served just 3 years behind bars for the death of her 4-year-old son, Stephen, back in 1982. She was released on parole despite the objections of the Attorney General at the time, James O'Neill.
Joanne Rossi later became Joanne Rossi Cassiano and had 3 more children. In 1995, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island found her guilty of abusing her oldest son from that marriage, which was a violation of her probation. Very controversial story throughout much of the 1980s, brought the practices of state government and that particular department into question as well. And back to the Crescent Park fire. The only remaining structure from that park that exists today, as you know, is the Crescent Park Loof Carousel, which was built back in 1895. It is still in operation, features 61 hand-carved horses, 1 camel, and 4 chariots. And it was a big day in 1984, Barbara, when that carousel began to operate again after all those years.
And the other one is in Pawtucket, right? At Slater Park?
Is or was?
I think it is still in operation.
We'll be right back.